In this video, I will be doing the top 10 hardest punching boxers of all time. Ron Lyle. Ron Lyle was an exciting fighter from the golden era of the heavyweight division, the 1970s. I would rate him as, perhaps, the best heavyweight from the past 50 years who never won a world title. He gave plenty of problems to the very best of his era, who also happened to be the best of all time. Jerry Cooney. I came along a few years too late to experience the true golden age of the 1970s. The great heavyweight showdown of my childhood was Larry Holmes vs Jerry Cooney in June 1982. Cooney ended up suffering the first loss of his career, via round 13 TKO. He was never a major factor in the division again. Joe Louis. More than 60 years after he retired, many boxing historians still regard Joe Louis as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. He held the belt for a record 12 years and 25 defenses. Louis emerged from the hot Detroit amateur boxing scene in the mid-1930s, an athletic and raw-boned youth, recently transplanted from the Deep South. Under the tutelage of Jack Blackburn, he quickly transformed into a first-rate boxer with a crushing right hand. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's emergence as a dominant force at heavyweight in the second half of the 1980s is one of the most documented events in the sport's history. The young Iron Mike was a bona fide pop culture phenomena. Tyson was like the reincarnation of Jack Dempsey, in a bigger, badder form. He'd move into range cleverly, behind his peekaboo guard, then attack like a buzzsaw, exploding concussive punches to the body and head with both hands. Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko has a fatal flaw, a subpar ability to take a shot to the chin, by heavyweight standards. In his otherwise spectacular career, Klitschko has been stopped by such mortals as Ross Puretti, Lamon Brewster and Corey Sanders. Klitschko's relative weakness, when it comes to taking a shot, prevents me from ranking him ahead of a lot of all-time greats, including his older brother, Vitaly. But when it comes to pure power punching, there's no doubt in my mind that he is among the top 10 of all time. David Tua. David Tua never won a world title, but the Samoan from New Zealand put multiple world champions to sleep. If this was a list of the 10 greatest chins of all time, he would probably rank at least this high point, if only Tua could have developed the ability to cut off the ring on a world-class fighter, he would have fought his way into the Hall of Fame. As it stands, he remains one of the most popular fighters of the past 20 years. Sonny Liston. The 1960s were supposed to be the Sonny Liston era in boxing history. The brash upstart from Louisville, the blown-up light heavyweight, Cassius Clay, was supposed to be just one more speed bump in the highway point. That's pretty much exactly what every boxing fan in America thought heading into their 1964 fight. Even most of the D-Head fans, who really know what's what. Even most of the writers. Lennox Lewis. Like Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis' legacy suffers somewhat from the fact that he was stunningly KO'd by two relatively mediocre opponents, Hassan Rahman and Oliver McCall. But unlike Klitschko, Lewis came back to avenge himself against both men, stopping Rahman in 4 and McCall in 5 in rematches. George Foreman. It's not that difficult to imagine a parallel universe where George Foreman ranks as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, rather than Muhammad Ali. If Foreman could have stayed mentally strong enough to regroup and keep winning the fights, that would have forced Ali to give him a rematch. I believe he would have won the second time. And the hardest punching boxers of all time is Ernie Shavers. By the early 1980s, Ernie Shavers' punching power was so legendary that he was able to parlay it into a part-time gig in professional wrestling, serving as a guest referee and ringside enforcer. Not only were 68 of Shavers' 74 victories by stoppage, but also 33 of them came in the first 2 rounds. Shavers' mystique is enhanced from having competed in the division's golden age. Like Tour, certain flaws in his game prevented him from reaching championship status, yet his power made him a threat to nearly anybody who got in the ring with him. Remember to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you get notified anytime I make a video.